Alright guys, so in this video, I will be showing you something very interesting. I'm showing you how to create a simple expense tracker for yourself. How to create a simple expense tracker that you can use to track your expenses. You can use to track the outflow of money from your account or from you. So the first thing to do is to create a column. This is the date column. So the category, you can call it expenses category, right? Call it expenses category. So, but for me, I'll leave mine as category, right? Even if this will be good. So this should go off all. There's a data validation there. Let me, for the sake of this course, let me take it off first. So let me do clear all. Take off data validation, clear all. Okay, so I'll show you what actually happened later part of this course. Alright, so the next column you also have this description. This is the column where you describe your expenses, right? And the next column you have the amount per time, and then you have your total expenses. You want to bold in this. So the formula here is the sum formula. What it does is it adds up all the expenses, right? All the expenses incurred for the year. So this should not be H, it should actually be D2, because in column D you have the amount, right? So D2 to D, you're doing this for a year, for the year 2024, which there we have 365 or 366 days. So D2 to D366, right? So you see that if you put any amount here, 1,000, it fetches there. You put 2,000 here, the same shows up, right? So great. So however, we want to ensure that we have a list of all the days in the year 2024. So in order to achieve that, you must have created a particular extra sheet called the sum. You can give it any other name that you want. So how do I create this? Let me erase the one I already have, right? So start by using your sequence function. So what does sequence do for you? Sequence helps you create a list, a long list of whatever it is you want to create, right? So you have sequence. How many days you have in the year? Let's say you have 366 days, right? Beginning from 1. So you use the date function, and then you have what you can see other dates. You have year, month, and day. So one start from year 2024, what month, the first month, and the first day. So when you hit enter, you see that it fetches this way. Everything is coming up because I clicked on 366, so it's giving me for 366 days. You can see it stopped at the last day in the year, which is December 31st, 2024, which falls on a Tuesday. So, but my actual work will not be done yet. I just need this list, right? So now I can go back to my date and create a data validation, right? So on this column, I come to the data tab, go to data validation, right under remove duplicates. I click on it, click on data validation, change this any value to list, right? And the source, I go back to summary, right? Let's adjust this a bit. I go back to summary and highlight this column. So that serves as my reference, right? And I click on OK. You can see that I have data validation. So for the first day here, I can click on January 1st and then enter my expense category. So in this place also, I can also create a data validation here, because in the summary, I've also created a list of categories of expenses, right? So you have my food, other frequency like junks, whatever you buy. So, and then you have transportation, gifts, rent. So let's even organize it for the role of let's say January. For the role of January. So let's drag it to the 1st of January, right? So let's say the role of January, we spent money on several things, right? So and then let's just use a random formula here, and then say we have to spend between, and each day we spend between 1,000 naira and 50,000 naira. On each day we spend between 1,000 naira and 50,000 naira. So the same with enter to okay, because I put a comma there, right? Hit on enter. You see, so let's drag this down. Let's drag this down to the 31st day. Let's drag this down to the 31st day in January. So you can see that now we have random figures here, and our total expense column is also working. So since it's a total, let's use this also. A bottom double bottom, right? right? So it looks like it's supposed to look, right? So we have this. You can on your line you can put different categories and different description. But let's not forget. Let's also ensure we add our data validation for this, right? So you can come here, back there on the tracker sheet. You can go to data tab, click on data validation. Data validation. So we have the lists. We have the lists. So it's saying, as you can see, the prompt that said you must enter a source. So what's our source in this context? What's our source in this context? Yeah. So why is it not working? Why is it not? Big challenge. Let me first of all ensure that this is not changing. Let me paste as text. So ensure that it does not change any further. So I'm curious. Why is it not working? Let me first of all clear all validations. And do it again. Curious. Why is it not working? So let's figure it out together. So let's say we have a list. So the list is this, right? I think I know why. I think it's not really empty, we're just picking blanks. So we want to clear this, not to manage that. We want to clear what we have there already. Or just come up here and say ignore blank. Ignore blank. So if you come back here, see that it's actually picked the non-blank, it's actually ignored blank. So you can, from your end, you can keep on filling all of this, right? And put the descriptions here. So that's basically how to create a simple expense tracker from your page. So let's fill this up a bit more. So the expense just fill for some days. So it's still not okay. We just fill for some days. We have food here also. Here we have clothing for data. So here we have courses. Here we have our tuition fees. Here we have rent. Although from your end, you might also want to ask that what happens because this tracker seems to assume that you incur just one expense per day. So how do you record for multiple expense on the same day? So in part 2 of this expense tracker video, I'll show you how to handle that kind of scenario. For this video, let's just keep it as simple as possible, just to create the original ideology or flow of thoughts or line of thoughts that we should have when creating this kind of solution. So you can come here in your summary and decide, or even write it on the same sheet and decide to create so let's have this category, hold Control down and highlight this also. And also you can decide to represent this on the pie chart, right? So you can see we have the pie chart that shows us the different expenses incurred and the portion that each category of expense holds, right? So you can change the title to category. Let's close this category of expenses, right? And this pretty much shows you what a very simple and concise expense tracker should look like. So watch out for the next video where we will take a step further into complex scenarios like one I mentioned earlier, where we can have multiple expenses on the same day. Let me know in the comment section whatever it is that you've learned from this video and what you also look forward to learning in subsequent videos like this. Alright, take care guys.